thinking the 1st of February, but it might be a little bit sooner if I can get them done in time. I don't want to say exactly what it is yet, but I've been working on, lots of pieces. I actually wasn't really planning to do like a collection of pottery anytime soon, but I don't know, something just came to me. Was definitely feeling inspired by something that I gifted to a few loved ones over the holidays, and kind of just felt like, I don't know, it was something that I could do that I think I would enjoy. It's not necessarily something that you utilize for eating or drinking, so there's like a little less stress in it all, which sometimes for me seems to be like the hardest part of it all. I'm like, is this gonna be good enough for someone to eat out of or to drink out of, whatever it may be. So this is something that you don't do. I have those things with, and I'm excited about it. So I'm on my last batch of items, doing the trimming for the last batch. I thought I was going to be done before, but I ended up with a few pieces that I think they'll turn out, but like probably not how I need them to. So I just made a few extra, which is always the best rule in pottery, really. Always make a few extra. You can see here why this section was so wobbly, and it's so extra thick right here. But yes, I'm hoping to launch these again, like I said, beginning of February, maybe even end of January. I want them to be able to be giftable for loved ones for Valentine's Day. So yeah, after I finish trimming and I get everything good and dry, I'll run it through the kiln, do a bisque fire, and then I will do a glaze fire, and they'll be done. So excited about this. I love to see everything sell. I'm gonna put it out there. But really, like, it's just been fun to just do for myself, to have like a project to work toward. Over the holidays, I did a lot of ornaments, which was a lot of fun, but just wanted something like new and different to focus on, something I actually haven't made before. So excited to see how they turn out. I won't really know exactly how they're going to turn out until the end, which feels a little risky, but it's okay. I like it that way. Okay, so now I'm just trimming. Things have been not drying very quickly lately, because it's been just so cold. But it's 70 degrees out right now, and these are feeling like a little bit drier than the last batch. Last batch I had to wait forever to trim, which is okay. I feel like that's like usually the process for most potters, is they're going to be I mean, everything in pottery like takes time. I am slightly impatient in the process. And I probably like dry my items maybe too fast sometimes. I definitely try and slow it down, especially in the summer. I put like tarps over my items so they don't like dry out too quickly. So in the winter, when things are actually progressing at like a normal rate, I'm kind of like, well, what's going on? Why is this taking so long? When actually it's not wrong at all. It's just the way it is. This one you can probably see I'm like struggling with it a little bit. I love this handy tool for trimming. Previously I used just clay to like hold down my items, which works great. But this is just like a lot quicker. You don't have to use clay to use it. That way you have like less waste, which is like the ideal in my opinion. It is a little pricey, but it's worth it. Ooh, this one I can feel. It is thick. Here we go. So yeah, that's all I'm doing, just trimming. Just thought it was wonderful to like clean out the greenhouse recently. It's looking less greenhouse, more pottery studio right now, which I don't mind, but I am gonna be putting some more plants in here soon, just like get the vibe back, because it's something I do enjoy. The space we created during the early days of the pandemic. Always talked about making a greenhouse, and then we had the time and the tools. And it took us like a couple of weekends to finish it. And before we knew it, we had the space all together. So it'll be 2 years in March, which is crazy to think, since we built it, and it has served us well. It wasn't always a pottery studio, it was mainly a greenhouse, but then last year when I got more serious, well, maybe even like end of 2020, when I got more serious about pottery, Scott and I decided this would be a good place to house it all. Not like afraid to make a mess in here, and got the space, so it works out well. Some of these pieces, like these were done after the other ones I just dried. They are a little wet still. I usually trim when they're a bit drier, but I should be okay. But yeah, I'm excited about this project. I've been sharing pieces about it on my Instagram, kind of like giving to me what feels like little tips, but really, I mean, they're probably not anything anyone's gonna guess. I think the symbolism will show through once I'm done, which I kind of like. It kind of feels very Taylor Swift of me. I know people either like love her or hate her, but I love the symbolism, so I'll take it. But yeah, I'm excited. It feels good to like be excited about a project. Oftentimes I'm just like throwing for fun. I do have a few things in the works that I'm also working on, but I just needed something to like get back into it. Really over the holidays, I mean, I was hand building ornaments. I wasn't really throwing. It just is a very time consuming thing to do, and between work and all the markets we had going on, I just didn't have time, and that's okay. I prioritize things in seasons, you know? So this felt like my season to get back to it, so I'm here. I really like this one. I think it turned out really well. I used some of my favorite clay. I feel like clay that a lot of people really love. It has this really nice speckle to it once it's done. And out of like all of the work I've done, people are always making comments about this particular clay. So I figured it would be the one to use, and I also had a good stock of it already. Our local like main pottery store is not very close to where I live, so it's a little bit of a trek, but when I do go out there I tend to stock up. That way I'm not having to make trips out there often. Their hours are also not great, so I really can only get there on a Saturday. I am glad to have like a local place where I can get all of these supplies. It's called Marjan's, Marjan. They have one in Phoenix, and then they also have a location in Tucson. The location in Tucson is much smaller, but like I kind of like the vibe of it. We went there when we went to Tucson last spring, and it was cool just to see. I think I ended up picking up some stuff there that they actually didn't carry at our local Marjan's, and they had to order for me, which was totally fine. So yeah. Alright, I only got a few more to go. Just 2 more. Trimming is probably one of my favorite parts of throwing. I think a lot of people find it like stressful or just like annoying, but it's one of my favorite parts. I feel like it's calming. When I'm throwing, I'm so focused on like getting the right shape and like making sure I'm not extending something too far so that it doesn't like completely flop. With trimming, you're essentially just perfecting the shape you've already created. Ooh, sorry, that's not a nice noise. And I just enjoy it. I watch a lot of other potters, and I feel like a lot of them trim off more than I do. I wouldn't say there's like a right or wrong way to trim in my eyes, but I feel like I don't trim as much as I often see, which is fine, I don't care. But it is just like the last step before your piece is fully dried and it is becoming, oops, I keep forgetting I already moved these here. It's becoming who it's going to be when it is fully dried and done. Something that I have found, like trimming and throwing, it's something that I've just found a big passion for. I started with a very inexpensive wheel that we found on Amazon, just like a tiny white one, and it's tiny. If you guys are looking, I'm sure it'll come up in your search. It's like the first page, and it was so great just to like learn the basics down. Scott and I took a class summer of 2020 at like a local pottery studio, and it was great. We did a hand building class, and then we did one class that like walked you through the wheel. Scott and I had both like done pottery in the past, but it had been a long time, so it was nice to like go through the basics again. But really after that, I just watched a lot of like YouTube videos, Instagram. I know I hear pottery has become like a very popular thing in the past few years, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's a hobby that you can do solo, and I don't know, it just like brings a lot of joy. So since I started, and then like after I got like more of like a proper wheel and setup, there is a place in Phoenix that opened called Pip and Clay. It's a coffee shop and a pottery studio, and they have all sorts of classes, and I really like the folks there. I've only taken one class there, and I hope to go back sometime in the future. But it's like more centrally located, and the other place I was going was very far. So if you're local, you should check them out. Would highly recommend. And I think that's it. I'm gonna go. See ya.